This semester, we have looked at 7 different digital technology tools that can be used in the classroom to promote digital citizenship, creativity, collaboration, and student learning. Along the way, we have learned about many more tools that can be used both by students and teachers that encourage critical thinking and problem-solving skills. I decided to create a Symbaloo, which is a homepage full of important links and tools that were used throughout the class. On the top row, I included links to the Partnership for 21st Century Skills and the NETs for both teachers and students. These are the standards that the projects are based on, which stress the use of digital tools to create authentic learning situations where students can problem solve, work together, and produce original products which show their learning. In addition, I included links for Classroom 2.0 and Edutopia and Google+, which are resources teachers can use to further their own education, to collaborate and communicate. Next, I chose to add Glogster, Edmodo, and Screencast-O-Matic. Edmodo is a great way to organize the classroom community online. Glogster was used to display all of my projects, and Screencast-O-Matic is what I'm using right now to record my project. In each of the 7 projects, I will explain what the lesson is about, what tools were used, and how the lesson meets one or more of the standards. My first project uses data to create a visual representation. I chose to do a social studies lesson about rural and urban communities. First, students look at Wordles for both types of communities to try to determine what the difference is between the two and what stands out in each. Then, using Google Earth app on the iPad, students work together with a partner to find a rural and urban community in New Jersey. Lastly, they use Inspiration to create mind maps about both types of community. In this lesson, students are working together to discover things on their own instead of the teacher just telling them. They are working with authentic information, and by organizing the information from multiple digital sources, students are actively engaged in their own learning. Back on the Symbaloo, I have links for Inspiration, Google Earth, and Wordle. The next project uses mobile and handheld devices. Students use iPads to independently answer a series of questions using the application Socrative. This is done as a pretest and a post-test for a unit on fractions. The teacher can use these results to track what knowledge students already have and what areas they need help in. Then, at the end of the unit, teachers can also track the progress students made and what areas need to be improved. Socrative not only allows teachers to customize learning activities for diverse learning styles, but also assesses student knowledge and progress. The teacher can take the results and reflect on how effective the teaching was and use it to improve instruction. For this lesson, I've also linked Socrative for students, Socrative for teacher, and also an interesting introduction to Socrative YouTube video. The next project uses the interactive smartboard to engage students in their own learning. Students can come up to the smartboard and physically place parentheses in the equation to make them make sense. Involving students makes the lesson more fun and enables them to be part of the teaching instead of just listening. In the end, students can compete against each other in a game to see who can correctly insert parentheses. Again, students are able to construct new knowledge from old knowledge and use problem-solving skills. For this lesson, I linked the Smart Exchange, which is a compilation of lesson plans and resources that can be used with a smartboard and a YouTube tutorial. The next lesson incorporates clickers, which are another student response system that engage students and help track progress. In this lesson, students answer questions about plants as a pretest and then a post-test. Results can be posted in real time to allow students and teachers to see what misconceptions students have and what areas students agree on. Instead of just teaching a unit on plants from a textbook that was taught year after year, the teacher can customize lessons from the results of the clickers and provide students with an authentic learning experience. I've linked Turning Technologies, which is a clicker company, and also a YouTube video showing clickers being used in the classroom. The next lesson uses the flipped classroom theory, where teachers create short instructional videos for students to watch at home for homework. That way, when they come back to the classroom, the students can engage in collaborative, project-based learning while the teacher facilitates learning. In this lesson, students watch a brain pop video about the parts of a plant in addition to a video I created.
Today we're going to learn about the main parts of a plant. The 4 main parts of the plant I've labeled for you already.
When they come back to class, students will design a plant garden that allows each of the plant parts to do their job and grow the best. In addition, students will create plant diaries from the perspective of each part of the plant to demonstrate their learning. Students are able to be creative and think outside the box to produce original projects that can be shared with other members of the class. Again, the teacher is not wasting time lecturing and instead provides students with guided practice in their own learning discovery. I've linked the BrainPop website and the YouTube video that I created. The last lesson plan focuses on global communication using sites such as ePals and tools such as Skype. This provides students with opportunities to collaborate with students in other cultures and diversifies their learning. In this lesson, students lead a class book club with the book The Puzzling World of Winston Breen by Eric Berlin. Afterwards, students create interview questions to ask Eric Berlin in a Skype video call with the author. Students are able to participate in an authentic learning activity and use multiple sources of information to become better readers and writers. I've linked the Skype website and also Eric Berlin's website. What's great about this Symbaloo is now I have all of these resources at my fingertips to use in my classroom to foster creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking.